Hey, it's Enigma Hood. Today I want to talk a little bit about Buddhism. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm an atheist, and I don't have a religion. However, out of all of the religions that I've encountered, I have to say that Buddhism is probably one of the better ones out there. Now, as a Sri Lankan, when I was younger, I was taken to Buddhist temples, and I learned a little bit about Buddhism. But I have to point out that I was never actually a Buddhist. Now, for my animal rights advocates, my animal rights supporters, my animal rights subscribers, I would say pay close attention to Buddhism. Because Buddhism is one of the few religions that openly advocates respecting all life, as opposed to respecting just human life. Now, in Christianity, you have these very diverse set of beliefs, but they only talk about human beings. It's so anthrocentric. Anthrocentric means you only care about human beings. All it talks about is respecting other human beings, God, heaven, hell, you're going to go to hell, and that's it. It only talks about what's going to happen to humans and how we should be very nice and kind to humans. But when it comes to other animals are just a resource for human beings. They are not something that is to be respected. They are something for human beings to use. They're there for humans to use them for their own benefit. And I thought that's not right. We inhabit this planet with so many other animals. We have to respect other life forms because we share the planet with them. And in fact, in Christianity, if you're a creationist, you don't even have to care about the environment. You can pollute the environment all you want because the whole planet's going to die in the apocalypse anyway. If you believe that, then yeah, I guess you don't have to care about the environment. You can pollute all you want. You can take a shit in the middle of the road because, hey, what difference does it make? The planet's going to blow up and we're all going to die. But, I don't believe that. Okay, so I do care about the environment. And Buddhism cares about the environment too. It openly advocates respecting all life forms. In fact, Buddhist monks, they will not even step on insects. They will not step on spiders. I remember when I was younger, my parents wouldn't kill bugs. In fact, even to this day, they don't like doing that. They'll put it outside. I'm not that much. I don't care about bugs that much. That's where I draw my line. But I still think it's noble for Buddhists to do that, and that's something that Westerners can look at and say, wow, you know what? Maybe we could learn something from that. Buddhism is actually, it has some pretty good ideologies there. Now, some common misconceptions about Buddhism is that, Buddhists worship Buddha. And that's completely untrue. I was at a Buddhist temple the other day, just a few days ago, and one of the things that the Buddhist monk, they call them sadhus. One of the things that the sadhu said was that we do not believe in Buddha. We learn from him. We learn from his teachings. He was a man. He was just a normal man. Okay, it's not like Christianity where they said Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Okay, real Buddhism says that he was just a normal man who attained enlightenment, who became perfect in his wisdom and in his compassion. Okay? He was an Indian prince. Now, technically, he was born in Nepal, but at the time, Nepal was India. So this is India we're talking about, the Indian subcontinent. And he was an Indian prince, and he renounced his royal lineage. He renounced being a prince, and he lived as a peasant to attain enlightenment and to understand suffering. Now, I don't know everything about it. I don't claim to be a great Buddhist expert. I'm not a Buddhist myself. I'm sure one of my subscribers knows a lot more about Buddhism than I do, my Sri Lankan Buddhist subscribers, and I encourage you to educate other people about it in the comment section or send me a private message, educate me about it a little bit more. But from my understanding, my limited understanding of Buddhism, he was an Indian prince who wanted to live as a peasant so that he could understand suffering and attain enlightenment. And he did. And, that's a really noble thing to do. To renounce, can you imagine being a prince, to have all the riches in the world and live a comfortable life, to renounce all of that and live as a commoner, live as a beggar. That's what he did. He had to beg for food because he didn't have any money. He went door to door begging for food. At one time, he tried to attain enlightenment by starving himself to death, and then he passed out, and he knew that he couldn't attain it that way. He had to beg for food. That's an incredible undertaking to do. That's not something that I would ever do. I don't think that's something a lot of people would do. But he did it. And that's truly amazing. Now, why am I not a Buddhist, though? You might be wondering that question. I just feel like I never really needed it. I never needed to be a Buddhist in order to be who I am. I don't believe in reincarnation. Buddhism teaches about some spiritual, supernatural things like reincarnation. I went to a Buddhist temple in Sri Lanka, and there were depictions of hell. I don't know if they believe in hell or not, but maybe they do. I don't know. I just saw like this really beautiful, I have to say it was beautiful, this beautiful sculpture artwork showing all these people being tortured to death by devils and things like that. I was like, wow, this is awesome, because there's blood all over the place and it just looked cool. So I don't know if Buddhists believe in hell or not, but that's what I saw at the Buddhist temple when I went there. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in reincarnation. Not because that these things don't exist, but because there's just no scientific evidence. At this point in my life, I'm too scientific to ever go back to that, I guess the primordial ways of life that humans just kind of accepted beliefs without evidence. Also, some of the meditation stuff really doesn't do it for me. That's just a personal thing. I tried it. I went to a Buddhist temple just a few days ago, and we were doing some chanting and meditating, and it doesn't do it for me. I'm too much of a scientific guy at this point. I can't really chant these things and then have that chanting help me. Like when you're talking about one of the chants that they do is saying I wish to be freed from harm and greed. I wish to be well and happy, things like that. Saying that stuff, it's good, but saying it doesn't make me feel well and happy. It doesn't do it for me. And also they talk about I wish my enemies to be freed from harm and greed. I mean, they say it for many, many different people, like yourself, your family, your friends, and then your enemies. I don't want my enemies to be freed from harm and greed. I want them to suffer for them being bad people. That's the other thing that Buddhism teaches about, though, karma. I don't believe in karma in the sense that if you do bad things will happen to you, or if you do good things will happen to you. I think that, though, if the belief is that there's a spiritual thing going on that makes that happen, I don't believe that. However, what I do believe is that if you do good things tend to happen to you naturally anyway. Like, if you're a nice person to everyone, isn't it logical that people will be nice to you? Isn't it logical that people will do nice things for you if you're a nice person? I think that's a pretty reasonable conclusion to come to. If you're a bad person, if you constantly steal, okay, you will get away with it sometimes, but if you keep doing it, you're gonna get caught eventually. So it does catch up to you. So there's kind of a natural gravitation towards these things. If you do bad things, eventually something bad will happen to you anyway. I don't think there's any spiritual thing going on that guides it. I think it just happens because of the nature of the beast. So I think that pretty much covers everything. Buddhism is a fascinating religion. This is, by the way, when I'm talking about Buddhism, I'm mostly talking about Sri Lankan Buddhism because that's just what I've been used to. I don't know much about Buddhism in other countries. If anybody knows a little bit more about that, feel free to send me a private message or, talk about it in the comments section or whatever you want. And to my vegetarian and vegan subscribers, I highly recommend that you at least learn a little bit about Buddhism, because it's actually a pretty good religion when it comes to animal rights. It's one of the few religions that really, really goes into that and respects animal rights, and that's a fantastic thing. And I can always respect that. Christianity, they don't do that. They never address that. If people come up, well, what happens to animals when they die? According to Buddhism, there's the reincarnation thing going on there. Okay, that's what they believe. But in Christianity, they never even talk about that. It's completely left out. oh, animal heaven. I know that some people believe in animal heaven, but there's no religious doctrine that even talks about that. It's so anthrocentric. And, that's the big distinction between Christianity and Buddhism. Buddhism cares about all life forms. So check it out.